Greetings, my friends. This is, of course, Dr. Jimmy lurking in the dark again, and this is the morning of, actually the afternoon of Friday, June 10th, 2016. And today, well, first, let's get the t-shirt out of the way, always. Today's t-shirt is a Walking Dead t-shirt. Yes, the Walking Dead Axed Zombie t-shirt, as it's called. This was purchased by myself at the Cyber Image gift shop located in the Hollywood Boulevard area of Universal Studios, Florida, in the summer of 2012, thus just about 4 years ago, in anticipation of the then upcoming Walking Dead Haunted House at Halloween Horror Nights 22, back when it was still a fresh, neat, new idea, before it got a bit stale after more Walking Dead houses came in 2013, 2014, 2015, and now upcoming in 2016. Oh, what can we say? But this video is not about Halloween Horror Nights 22. This is not the 11th video in my history. I've decided to start something new. I will continue those videos, hopefully in the near future, but right now it occurs to me, I received an inquiry from a young man asking me a question about Pazuzu, the demon featured in the Exorcist films, and asked me if in fact that was an entirely fictional creation of the filmmakers, or was it indeed a real, in commas of course, a real person, a real entity, that is something that actually comes from historical fact. And indeed there was a Pazuzu, as I am a professor of religion, I know a little bit about that sort of thing, and I informed him a little bit about it, and it occurred to me maybe other people may not know much about Pazuzu. And I had thought about perhaps doing a Horror Nights Who's Who video. Then, just recently, after the announcement was made yesterday of our new icon, Chance, I got a very perplexing inquiry. Someone asking me, I'm sorry, who's Chance? I mean, were you not paying attention last year? But apparently didn't know who Chance was exactly. Is she somehow related to Jack, like Eddie is or something? I thought, my goodness, you don't know your history. And then I realized, well, maybe I need to make a series of Who's Who videos for people who don't know enough about it, for some of the more interesting characters we're likely to see this year at Halloween Horror Nights 26. So I've decided to make at least 3 for now. One on Pazuzu, one on Chance, and one on Leatherface, because Leatherface is a character that's a bit perplexing. You think you know who he is, but do you? He's not. Is he just one person, or are there more than one Leatherface, or is it someone who gets changed so often we need to go over it and just get an idea clear on who that is? So I'm going to be making these videos, hopefully this afternoon, while I'm being annoyed by a cat walking back and forth in front of the computer, which you can't see because she's just below frame, but there she is, demanding attention, wants me to pet her. So anyway, so this is the first then, Who's Who? Horror Nights Who's Who? Pazuzu. Who is Pazuzu really? Where did that come from? And if you read The Exorcist, the novel by William Peter Blatty, written in the early 1970s, he chose this particular entity as the demon that possesses Regan McNeil. Well, just who or what is Pazuzu? And the answer is, in fact, Pazuzu was an actual entity, well, did he really exist? That depends on your own spiritual beliefs, I suppose. But the ancient Babylonians and Assyrians believed that there was a being called Pazuzu, a demon, I suppose you could call him that, in the modern sense. He was a monstrous entity, and the lord of the demons of the wind. So, and if we think about the Bible, there's a place where it refers to the devil as the prince of the powers of the air. So there is a Semitic concept of demons being associated with the air and the wind, spirits associated with the air and breath. In fact, the word for breath and the word for spirit were the same word in many languages. In Greek, for example, pneuma means breath, and it also means soul, spirit. Psyche, psyche means soul, but it's associated with the same thing, with inhalation, exhalation. You could breathe in it. That's why when you sneeze or cough, you're supposed to cover your mouth, because it might be caused by an evil spirit possessing you, making you sick, and you cough. It's actually germs, but they didn't know about germs. They just knew that sometimes it seemed to be transmitted through the air, disease. And so they thought evil spirits go through the air. They're in the air. They're associated with the air. Also, swarms of locusts would come. Storms, weather, lightning, thunder, rain, wind, to be massively destructive, especially in the Middle East, where a lot of our religion originates. For example, sandstorms could absolutely strip a man bare from flesh to bone in seconds. You know, this Scirocco, that was actually believed to be a spirit, a jinn. They're associated with smoke and fire and air, and they're powerful entities, dangerous entities, and they occur and they stick around in Islamic religion from the ancient Arabic religions before them. Before that, and we also have all sorts of spirits associated with the powers of the air. So it's a very potent and force of nature. So Pazuzu is represented in art as a monstrous creature, a human torso basically, but with a face of a savage, snarling beast, like a dog perhaps, or sometimes it looks more like, say, a lion or a bear, big ferocious fangs and big paws or claws of the same sort of animal, but with great wings, 4 wings, 2 pairs of wings. And again, we make the association with winged insects, who have 2 pairs of wings usually, especially flies. Remember, one of the names for the devil, Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, or Asmodeus in Latin. So flies were considered somehow associated with spirits, and evil spirits particularly. And again, we have 4 pairs of wings. We also think of swarms of locusts, and Pazuzu has been associated with plagues of locusts and other things that could come on the wind to create utter devastation, completely wiping out your crops, and then famine results, terrible death and desolation. So it is a scary thing. Physically, in addition to the wings, he has a rather unique appendage, a bit strange. You might think his penis is a snake. He's got a serpentine penis. You know, that's kind of scary if he isn't procreating. And he's got a tail. You don't normally see it in the Exorcist because you always see that statue from the front. The statue in the movie is an actual statue of Pazuzu, as seen in ancient Babylonian art. Babylon, by the way, is what we today call Iraq. You know, Babylon and Assyria would have been in what is today Syria. So that's where he was in those states that were today Arab states, Muslim states, but back then, of course, centuries before Muhammad ever came along, they had different religions, different belief systems, including polytheistic religions. And a tail is like a scorpion's tail with a sting. Yes. So, now, in polytheistic religions, the whole idea of good and evil gets a bit muddy, you know, and all of those religions, God is not ultimate good or ultimate evil. You don't really have, you know, Jehovah or God, Allah, whatever you want to call him. You don't have a God that's absolutely pure and absolutely good and all-powerful and all-good and all-knowing and all-wise and all-wonderful. You have even Zeus or Jupiter or Jove or whatever name you called him, had his vices. You know, he'd come down to earth and procreate with virgins, and sometimes turning himself, and sometimes with boys like Ganymede. So, you know, he acted like a human being, doing both good things and bad things, depending on his own tendencies and whimsies, and motivated by his own emotions and caprices. You see, the gods were more like people, not like some sort of divine being. They acted like people. They could do good things or bad things depending on how they felt. And so the best thing you did in your religious view was to stay on the good side, because he's a badass. He's bigger than you, and he'll smite you. And you want to make sure the gods like you. And so you sacrifice animals, you give rituals, you praise incantations, whatever, to stay on their good side. It's sort of like when you're in high school and there's a bully, but there's one bully all the other bullies are scared of. So you make friends with that one, yeah? Do his homework, whatever you want to do, get on the good side, and the other bullies will leave you alone because they're scared of the big guy. That's sort of the way that they worship Pazuzu, because Pazuzu was more of a deity than a demon to the Babylonians. He was scary and fierce, and he could do terrible things to you, but if you kept on his good side, he'd protect you from the other demons that were even worse, especially one particular evil female demon, Lamashka. Lamashka was a horrible demoness whose whole joy in life was to ruin childbirth. She liked to cause miscarriages, you see. And of course, having children was very important in the ancient world, because people normally had, as many kids as they could, because a lot of them die young. And you want to make sure you have kids so your lineage continues, but also because you need to have people to help you work your farm and everything else. It was much more important to have lots of kids in those days. So a terrible thing. Barrenness in a woman was considered a curse, and to have a miscarriage was considered, something from the gods. And there was a terrible demoness who was responsible. Lamashka might be related to Lilith in Judaic mysticism, who also would steal children and do terrible things to little kids. Pazuzu was the one creature that Lamashka feared, her arch enemy. He would protect anyone from Lamashka. He hated her. So that was like this hate, love, whatever relationship between the two of them. I think they had an affair once, but they turned out bad. So Pazuzu was invoked to protect you. If your wife was pregnant, or you were a woman and you were pregnant, what you did was you invoked Pazuzu. And you go to museums in the British Museum or the Louvre in France, and you can find all sorts of little figurines of Pazuzu and little heads of Pazuzu that were worn as amulets and talismans. And they protected you from Lamashka, and that way you would ensure that your child would come to term and be born healthy. See, it was a way of fertility, but also protection. So that was the way it was. It was like paying off one mean demon to protect you from the other demons. So to a lot of the Babylonians, they saw Pazuzu as more of a good guy, because, he would help you out and protect you from the worst demons. Plus, he was the chief of the demons of the air, and so if he was in charge, and the other air demons wouldn't hurt you because their boss is Pazuzu, right? Therefore, maybe you could hold off the storms and the plagues and the sicknesses that come in the air. So it was seen as a very important deity to appease. Now, in the Jewish faith, they decided all the other gods were false, and they only wanted to worship their one God, Yahweh, right? So that was it. No more goddess worship at all, no more worship of any other gods. Originally, they might have believed those gods existed, but they were foreign gods. They're not for us. We are dedicated to our one God. And eventually, as they put the Bible together, Leviticus, they start saying these other gods are false, that don't even exist. But there were some sects of Jews near the 1st century, particularly the Essenes, who came up with a new idea. They said, well, it's not that those gods don't exist, they're just idols of stone or wood or whatever. They do exist, but they're not gods, they're devils. They're evil. They're a bunch of watcher angels, and they screwed up. And it says in Genesis that the sons of God lay with the daughters of men, and there were giants in those days, and they decided that's what happened. Some of the angels got horny, came down, messed about with human women, and God got mad and kicked them out. And the leader of those demons was Samael. And so they decided that this was, and Samael found Lilith and produced all manner of demons that he created through sexual intercourse with Lilith. And so you have all of this nation of evil watcher angels who are now fallen angels. And that whole concept that somehow angels went bad and became demonic creatures was started by the Essenes. And they also began picking out foreign gods and saying those are those very same beings. And those are the evil spirits that cause possession and other terrible things. So when Jesus was told he might be casting out demons by the power of Beelzebub, Beelzebub was actually a god worshipped by some other foreigners. And they turned that name into the name of a demon. Of course, his famous statement, house divided against itself cannot stand. How can Beelzebub cast out Beelzebub? Makes no sense. I'm obviously doing this by the power of God. See, so that's what his answer to that was. So Jesus had a lot of connections to the Essenes, it is believed, and it influenced his own teachings. And in fact, the early Christian church picked up all that stuff about fallen angels and incorporated it into Christianity. So that's why we have the devil. Okay, Lucifer, the devil, all of that came from these ideas. Now, the Jews dropped all that. The Essene sect died out, and the Pharisee sect of rabbinical Judaism is the one that progressed into modern-day Judaism. So they have a very different view today. Most Jews don't even believe there is a devil or a hell. But Christians, of course, are quite certain there is one, at least those who are fundamentalists especially, and the Catholic Church also holds, although recently the Pope said there's no literal physical hell, but there is still evil personified by Satan, you see. So that's how foreign gods became demons in Christianity. And so it's not unusual then that William Peter Blatty chose one of those to be the demon possessing Regan McNeil in his novel The Exorcist. Now, this was made into the film The Exorcist by William Friedkin, and when they made the film, the name Pazuzu may be quite scary in Babylonian, and his brother by the name was him Humbaba. Well, those sound kind of silly. Pazuzu and Humbaba. Isn't it sound like the warthog and the meerkat in, Hakuna Matata? It's, that sort of silly names that might sound, a bit like cartoon characters to the English speakers here. And it's just not a scary name. Pazuzu. I mean, Zuzu petals, I don't know. It just sounds kind of amusing, Scooby-Doo. Pazuzu, where are you? What's the kind of thing? And so they thought, well, it says that in the book, and we'll use the image of the devil, of that demon, at the beginning, and there's a statue of Pazuzu, and so we identify the demon visually, but we won't say the name in the movie. That's why when you watch The Exorcist, you never hear the word Pazuzu uttered once, because they thought if they said the name in the movie, people watching in the theatre would start laughing. Oh, unintentional laughter. That's the death chill for a horror movie, because then you lose the scare. And they wanted The Exorcist to be the fucking scariest movie of all time, and some people think it is. And it really was scary. And if you were back in 1972 or 3, whenever it was it came out, there would be articles in the newspaper about people fainting in the theatre and running out screaming, and people who couldn't stand it, and all sorts of heart attacks and things happening because the movie was so damn scary. It got hyped way out of proportion in the newspapers and the media because this was supposed to be so frightening, and so it really set it up. And of course in the movie, for all you know, that's the devil himself in Regan. And what's he trying to do? I always felt he's not really trying to possess Regan McNeil because he's after her. She's bait to get those priests, right? That's what it's all about. And, he thinks, the devil that is, he's going to get rid of Lancaster Marin, his enemy, and then Damien Karras, well, once he makes the mistake of taking the spirit into himself, which he does, then he'll kill Regan, and he will be completely corrupted. Oh, what fun, corrupting priests. That's what the devil wants to do, to attack the church. Remember, at the very beginning, it all starts out desecrating the image of the Holy Virgin, right? So it's about attacking the church. That's what he's really all about. That's the implication I think I get when I see the movie. But good wins. When Damien is unable to kill Regan, he refuses, he gets enough strength to throw himself out the window, and even though that's sort of sinful to commit suicide, he doesn't die right away, and the other priest is able to give him the last rites and give him forgiveness for his sins. Oh my God, Damien's saved, he's going straight to heaven, he might become a saint. He wins, devil loses, ha-ha. That's what I get out of the movie. Now, when they made the sequel, Exorcist II, The Heretic, John Borman made the movie, didn't give a fudge about the Catholic Church. He didn't have all these nice Jesuits there to help him out and give him technical advice. No, he made up all kinds of silly shit, especially with his screenwriter, a man named Raspo Pallenberg. They came up with this weird New Age notion. What the devil was really trying to do was to send the demon Pazuzu to go after Regan McNeil because she's part of some new Indigo Children type of thing, some new wonderful New Age evolution of man with healing powers and wonderful superhuman, and that they want to wipe this race out before it gets going, just like Katanga apparently in Africa had been, James Earl Jones had been had been one of those kids, and Pazuzu tried to get him, and Merrin saved him, and now he's become superhuman, and the demon can't even attack him because they'll see a lion's face, rawr, and then he'll run away. Now in that movie they say Pazuzu every 5 minutes practically, and it just sounds silly, and that movie was a laugh riot. It's just silly as, I mean, you're flying around in the Pazuzu eye view on a locust, and all kinds of silly things, and Reagan has to kill the evil Reagan, who's still partially Pazuzu, and she has to rip the heart out of her other self, and therefore she's freed, and then she becomes super, and she can float in the air and make the locusts go away and heal the second, make the lame to walk, the blind to see. She's sort of a messiah already, and then all these other children with these powers can be born and can, you know, and we can have a new age of new superhumans or whatever. It's a bollocks idea, not scary. They did a better job in part 3 going back to the novels and doing it, making it scary again. And however, the more recent films I don't think I even want to talk about because they're silly too. But again, that's who Pazuzu was, and that's why he didn't hear the word in the first movie. In the second movie it got rather ridiculous. The one good thing about the second movie, there was the music. Ennio Morricone's wild songs and music of magic and ecstasy. That's just marvelous stuff, and I hope they use that someday at Horror Nights, if not in the house. Don't make a house on Exorcist 2, but you can use the music because it's awesome. Alright, so that's my first Who's Who Pazuzu. Now you know who Pazuzu is, I hope. And then I'll try to inform you in later videos on who Chats and Leatherface are.